everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at the newest expansion for Dominion, Rising Sun, which has a Japanese flair because theme. Just to clarify, before we jump into this, I am a big fan of Dominion. I give it a 10 out of 10. I love the game. So, yes, I don't mind that this doesn't have... I guess this had a theme, but I wouldn't have noticed it. But I expect that from Dominion.
Many of my favorite sets, it takes place at the ocean. And cool, there's good pictures. Or
maybe Seaside had the most theme.
Seaside,
with
Prosperity.
Pirates and Treasure.
Right. Prosperity was a bunch of expensive cards, so it was mechanically thematic, so to speak.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a strong... Like, if you say, what's Rising Sun about? I'd be like, wow, here, I'm going to show you the cards in the set, and then we'll be back. The first thing that's added in this game is debt. Now, debt also came in another expansion called Empires, where there's these little coins that you get. Sometimes you get them when you take a card. So instead of paying money for these cards, you'll just take that much debt. Whenever you have debt, you basically pay it off with coins. And you can't do anything else till you pay it off. So if I take this card here, which is +1 action, and +1 card, for each card you have exactly one copy of in play. So this could draw a ton of cards when I get it. But, I might pay for it my next or several next turns by getting rid of this debt. This one gives me a card in action. The next time I play a non-command action card, I get to replay it again. Both very good cards. This set sometimes have cards that just give you debt when you play them. This is a great card. 2 cards and 2 actions, but gives you a debt each time. This is 2 debt, but then gives you a card that costs up to 5. What you might notice, though, is the card only costs 3 to take. This one, get a gold and 4 debt. Well, here's another one. +5 cards, +1 buy, but also +2 debt. +3 cards, +1 action, +3 debt. So there's a lot of this. And here, if you have any debt, you get 3 gold, 3 money. So this one's kind of an interesting one. And then otherwise you trash a card from your hand and gain a card that costs more to it, and you get debt equal to the difference. So this one this one actually feels very realistic when it comes to debt. Here's another card that costs debt, but you'll notice something new here, which is a prophecy token. So you can see these prophecy tokens. So let's talk about that briefly. Whenever you have a card that has prophecy tokens in the game, so Mountain Shrine is one of them, it doesn't matter how many you have, you're going to add a random prophecy. Now this is a new rule for the game, that you're going to have a bunch of prophecy tokens on this card equal to the number of players. So if it's a 4-player game, you'll have 10 prophecy tokens on here. And whenever you do see a card, like the one we just saw with the prophecy token, you'll take one of these off. When the last one comes off, there is now a new rule for the game. Whenever you gain a card, put it on your deck. When you gain an action or treasure, put it aside, play at the beginning of your next turn. Cards cost 1 less. You can use actions as buys. So after each action card, +1 action. So there are lots of different prophecy cards. But like I said, no matter how many you have of these cards that have prophecy tokens, you're only going to put one of these into play. So there's some more cards that have the prophecy symbols on them. Here's one that gives you 1, trashing cards from your hand. Here's one that's a tea house. It's +1 card, +1 action, +2, and a prophecy token. A poet, the rustic village. They're kind of like basic other cards, but they give you that. You'll see they have omen at the bottom, which again, the omen cards are the things that are helping you take those tokens off the prophecy. Then we have a couple cards in this one. The Fishmonger and the Tanuki are 2 of these cards here. +1 buy, +1 money. Trash a card from hand, gain a card costing up to 2 more than it. So these aren't particularly new cards, except the bottom part says you can play this from your deck as if it's in your hand. So when you have one of these cards, it shows you on here, it says when shuffling it, put it on the bottom of your deck. So whenever you shuffle cards, you put all these cards, and for all 4 of the cards that have this symbol on, you put on the bottom of your deck, and it's as if it's in your hand. The other 2 cards are draw till you have 7 in your hand, +1 card, +1 action, discard a card. The other things that are new in this set are just a bunch of cards. We have some normal cards. These are the duration cards. You've seen them before. A new Treasure Rice, which is +1 for each different type of Monk's cards you have in play. A 7-cost card. That can be pretty valuable. Here's an attack. Everyone discards down to 3 cards. And at the start of each of your turns this game, +1. This is my favorite card from this set, as a side note. I just like having this in play. But here, the number of aristocrats you have in play, I like how they have 4 or 8. How would you have 8 in play? But anyway, that would give you +3 buys. So a bunch of different things. Trash a card, and then you get a reward based on what happens when you trash that card. If your hand has no duplicate values, then you can do various things here, and you can give other people curses. There's also events in this set. Let's move the cards out here. These were first came in a set called Adventures. So you can put events here in play, and instead of buying a card, you can basically pay and do whatever the event says. So I can pay 3 to trash a card from my hand, and if I got a gold this game, I gain a card costing up to 2 more than the trashed card. I can play an action card from my hand twice, but it costs me 3 to do so. So you don't get to keep these. They're just like a one-time card that burns up after you use it. And that's it. That's all the different things. Here's an event card that costs debt, so keep that in mind. But that's what's in this set. This one's a hard one to put down as what is the overarching thing of this deck? Because a lot of them have that.
Right.
Even the terrible alchemy was potions, another thing.
Potions, and many of the cards had a transformative feel, or the much maligned possession card at least felt alchemical, right? This one, one of its unique mechanisms being the shadow cards, the ones that you keep face down, have a different back, and so you keep them at the bottom of your deck.
I like to talk about those, so we'll start with those.
Sure. Thematically, I was looking at a couple of the first ones. I was like, Ronin is a shadow card, makes ninja. Fishmonger?
Yeah. Well, those fishmongers can come out of anywhere.
One of them is alley. And sure, if you had made the illustration like a dark alley, but it didn't really feel like anything. So, yes, but your thoughts on the...
So there's 5 different things in this set that are newish. Real easy to get out. The one that we've seen before, events, that's been in a set before.
Yeah, the landscape cards. Yep.
Basically, it's a card you buy, instantly use. They're fine. I liked them before. There's just more here.
Yes,
Some of them have to do the one you just said, the shadow cards. Is that what they're called? They're called shadow cards?
Shadow, yeah.
So they go on the bottom of the deck. So the back of the card helps you remember that. And so nowadays when I play Dominion, I play a ton of Dominion in person, but I also play even more Dominion
in the app.
On the app.
Yeah.
On the app, these are no problem at all. A little bit. There's always that fiddliness of, figuring out where cards are. In person, these are a pain in the neck. I'm sorry. I don't care if they got another back. You got to put them on the bottom. There already is a card that already went on the top way back in the day. It was a promo card with the red back.
Yes.
That's actually one of my top 10 cards, that card.
Oh,
but
really?
You just stuck it on top, and then you drew it in your hand. It was great. The problem with these are they're part of your hand, but not part of your hand. That way some card effects will miss them.
You can't discard them for the effect of something else. But you have to remember that you have them.
I was just saying, how much you want to bet you're going to forget if you're a casual Dominion player. Everyone I played with kept forgetting these cards existed.
Even as an experienced Dominion player, it's just odd to have something that's virtually part of your hand, but physically inaccessible. It's an odd way to do it. I almost wish that they were just kind of tokens on the side or something. I
agree.
That way you flip them over when you reshuffle your deck, re-up them or something, right? But it's not a good form factor. But digitally, it's not bad. But I'm not going to rate this based on app play.
No, but also I don't even if that wasn't a problem, I just don't find it to be that interesting of a mechanism. It's a card not in your hand, but in your hand. Okay, that's not particularly different than +1 action. +1 card, +1 action. I get it.
I understand the differences, but these I found to be just a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Debt is not new to this.
Right.
It is, again, I don't remember hating on Debt the first time I played this because I thought, oh, that's an interesting way. You take a card and you're paying for it
later,
the
You gotta pay off the
immediate,
debt token.
next turn or partially this turn and partially next turn. That lets you get some cards. I didn't dislike that. I do dislike it as a mechanism on cards, which this set has.
Oh, okay.
See,
okay.
originally it was, you buy the card for debt. Fine. Now I have a card. Every time I play it, I get debt. I don't like that. Yes, the card's powerful, and one of them's really cool, like take 3 debt or whatever, get a gold or something like that, or 4 debt. And that's kind of cool. I just don't find that to be fun, to be this constant play card. And it's, again, and I think this is the very definition of Rising Sun, it's fiddly. This set is just fiddly around, I found.
It's really, it's one of the more unfortunate aspects of it. I don't mind the debt, and even when you're playing a card, because I draw 5 cards, but take some debt, right? That's fine, and you'll pay it off pretty quickly, but it is just another thing to keep track of. So far, it's definitely sounded like all these new things are for experienced Dominion players. This
yes.
This is not an early expansion recommendation by any means.
But Prophecies is the one. So all these, the shadow cards and the debt. I'm not a big fan of either one of those systems, but I get them.
Okay.
I don't get Prophecies. I really don't. I mean, maybe someone can explain it to me. The idea of a rule that comes into effect, that's random, a random rule that's going to come into effect for everybody, and I'm playing cards to hasten that coming.
That rule.
The omen, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the card better.
All of the cards that symbol, the plus sun symbol, take the thing off, they're pretty good. I think that they tend to be a little bit stronger than their typical value, right? So this is a 3 that is, I think it's like plus 2 cards, plus 2 actions or something like that, right? That's kind of unheard of. Oh, but you're doing this thing that will mutually help the whole table?
It's like the definition of just extra stuff for extra stuff. Like, would I ever pick an omen over an event? No.
Right.
The event's similar to that. And these rules aren't even that exciting.
Well, one of them I really dislike, the when that prophecy happens, wipe the 10 kingdom cards, set up 10 new kingdom cards.
That will not happen. Maybe on the app, but even on the app, it's like, hey, let's. That's like possession level of badness. Like, who likes that? To reset your game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you keep everything you have up to this point, but now the market is completely different. I get why it's an interesting idea, and I could see some fascinating plays coming from it. But talk about having to reset up a game while you're in the middle of that game. I'm good. That's none of the prophecies are that worth it. And that one is the worst example by far.
That is the worst one. But the good ones, like, as soon as if you buy a treasure, you also get another card. Well, we already had, there's a card in existence, I forget the name of it, that kind of lets you do that already anyway.
Yes.
And so here's the thing. Dominion, when it came out, peaked really quickly. Mm-hmm. It went Dominion, Intrigue, Seaside Prosperity, then Alchemy. Then it kind of, it got to the point where we were going, I don't know. So these sets aren't. Dominion's probably had its heyday. It's probably the time to finish it. Then the last couple sets they did have been really good.
Starting at Renaissance, which I thought was very aptly named. I feel like almost every expansion since then.
And the last one, what was not Prosperity, but it was like Vuku Money or whatever it was called. Yeah,
Dominion Big Bucks.
I really enjoyed that one. This one, though, again, it feels like they're kind of running out of ideas. So they asked people who played Dominion a million times, what are things you'd like to see? And these people pick very esoteric things. On the Dominion app, you have the option to pick to ban cards from personal play. Mm-hmm. So I do that. It took some time, but I went through every card in Dominion, and I picked whether I wanted to show up, because I love to play with random setups. Just give me a random setup, bloop, and it will have some random stuff, and I play it. But I don't want to keep resetting, so bloop, I hate that card. So I just take that card out.
Yeah.
In this set, I kept 2 cards.
Were they the 2 duration cards?
Yes.
Okay, so incident. I think that's like the 5th extra, like other mechanism in here, and I think that those are 2 great duration cards.
Duration cards is almost a thing now, though, right? Like it's almost
It's in a
not
lot of sets.
It's like 4 or 5 sets, I think.
Yeah, so it's not unique to this by any means, but one of them is particularly fun. The samurai one, where it's a one-time attack, and then it stays out for the rest of the game, and it's a +1 money for the rest of your game, basically.
There's like nothing I dislike about it. The attack is, well, not pleasant. You know, it's 3 cards. That was in the first set with Militia. But also, if Chris plays that card, I went down to 3 cards, he'll never play it on me again.
And there's
Because it
something
stays
that
in
feels good
front of
about
him.
that. Yeah.
And he also gets +1, and I'm jealous of that. So now I'm buying one of those. And it's one of those games that ramps up the game, of course, but I just like it. You know, it's a fun card.
Yeah. At the risk of sounding too harsh on this set, it's not like every card in it is bad. There's plenty of cards I enjoyed with. I will play with them again. But the things that make this set unique compared to any other set, I don't think there's enough there.
Well, I am going to be harsh on this set. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, which I think is the lowest I've ever given a set. Maybe Alchemy, in retrospect, I know initially I didn't give Alchemy a tough score, but Alchemy is one of those sets that I have banned almost every card in my thing. I play with a ton of cards, so I'm not like willy-nilly. It's just that some of these mechanisms I go, I don't want to do that. Also, I should mention I did not ban all the events in this one.
No.
I mean, I kept those cards too. But I love Dominion. I'll play it. You could convince me to play this set maybe, but you would have a hard time with that because I'd be like, there's so many other sets out there. If you're playing Dominion and you own just the base game or one or expansion, you should get this. Regardless of my liking or not liking, this is one of the last sets you should get. There's many other sets that have new and interesting mechanisms. You know, unless you're a completionist. Anyway, that's me. What about you?
I agree. No, actually, I'm coming in at a 6, which is one of my lowest scores for an expansion set. Not that the set is bad, right? A 6 is an okay score, really. It's north of right in the middle, right? But it's just it doesn't do enough, and it has enough clunky things that I don't like it. I would prefer never to play with the shadow cards unless I'm playing in the app, and that's kind of a crummy caveat to have to kind of give, right? The prophecy cards are fine. They don't bother me as much as you, but I don't understand their point.
I guess that's the thing. It's not like I hate them. It's like, why are we doing this?
It's a little
prophecy
more fluff.
should be exciting. The king is coming. You're like, woo. Here I'm like I was when I first saw the cards, I really thought it was going to be, like these prophecy tokens. The person who did the most tokens gets whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it would be, and I was like, ooh, that's going to really change up the game. Nope, just a new rule.
No, see, I didn't exactly. So that's why I am. All of these things together, it's a 6. It's not bad per se, but I'm not going to add it to my regular rotation of cards.
Well, there you go, folks. That's Dominion Rising Sun. Is this the last expansion? Probably not. But until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
See you later. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.